Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on Signals and Systems course. So we are solving some of the problems based on the energy and power calculations. So we will solve another two problems and we will determine whether the given signal is a energy signal or power signal. So recalling it, a signal is said to be energy signal if the energy is finite, and such kind of signals will have the power value is 0. So all finite energy and zero power signals are classified as energy signal. Coming to your power signal, a signal is said to be power signal if a non-zero power and an infinite energy signals are classified as the power signals. And also we concluded that a signal can be either energy signal, a signal can be a power signal, a signal can be neither energy nor power signal, but a signal cannot be both energy and power signals. Okay. So let us begin this solution. So the first problem is x of t is equal to a. So if we draw the signal, it looks like this. So this one is the signal x1 of t, which is having a constant magnitude a. So this height of this signal is a, which is a DC. It is a DC of amplitude a. Now this signal is a bounded signal because the amplitude is a finite value, so it is a bounded, and the signal is extending from minus infinity to plus infinity. So from minus infinity to plus infinity, the signal is existing, therefore it is an infinite signal. So all bounded and infinite signals are obviously power signals. It is a power signal, right? Now let us prove this. We will find the energy of the signal. So energy of x1 of t, I will call it as Ex1. As per the formula, it is integral minus infinity to infinity x1 square dt. As it is a real signal, therefore I am not writing the magnitude, modulus. So this value is from minus infinity to infinity. X1 value in between this minus infinity to infinity is a. So it is a square dt. So this integration will be a square to t within the limits minus infinity to infinity. If you substitute the limits, you will get the energy value is infinity. So we did not get a finite energy. So this value is infinite. Therefore we can conclude the given signal is x1 of t is not energy signal. Right? Now let us calculate the power. So power of x1 of t, I will call this one as p suffix x1. So as per the formula, it is 1 by t integral minus t by 2 to t by 2 x1 square of t dt, where this t tends to infinity, right? So it is not a periodic signal, therefore the time is tending to infinity. So where this minus t by 2 to t by 2 is existing, for suppose these are the values. I don't know where this t by 2 and minus t by 2 are exactly. For suppose I am taking, these are the time instants. Okay. In this time instance also, from minus t by 2 to t by 2, the signal value is again a only. So a only. Therefore, I can write this one as, so this one will become limit t tends to infinity. This 1 by t from minus t by 2 to t by 2. This x1 square will become a square dt. Now, if we simplify further, it will be 1 by t. It will be a square. The integration will be t, and if I substitute upper limit t by 2, minus of lower limit is minus t by 2. So t by 2 plus t by 2 will become t, right? So it will be capital T. and these two we cancel. So I left with a square. So this is the power of given signal. So what is the power of a DC signal? So the power of a DC signal is a square. For suppose this a value is 10. This a value is 10. Then the power of this 10 volts source is 10 square. Now let us see the second problem. So let us draw the signal x2 of t. So this is the x2 of t signal. So which is extending from 0 to infinity. Again, this is a bounded and infinite signal, right? So obviously this energy of x2 of t, which is equal to E x2, turned out to be infinity, right? Let us calculate the power. So the power of the signal x2, limit t tends to infinity, 1 by t, it is again from minus t by 2 to t by 2, x2 square t dt. Okay. Again, I don't know where this minus t by 2 and plus t by 2 is. For suppose this is the minus t by 2 and this is plus t by 2. So this integration will be split into two parts. Limit t tends to infinity, it is 1 by t. So I am writing this one from minus t by 2 to 0, the signal value is 0 dt, plus from 0 to plus t by 2, the signal value is a, it is squared, so a squared dt. So obviously this value will be 0, and here you will get limit t tends to infinity, this is 1 by t, so again this one is a square. If I substitute the limits, it will be t by 2. Now this t and this t will be cancelled, therefore I will get this value is a square by 2. So this is the power of the signal. So here the question is, determine whether the following signal is energy or power signal. So recalling that a signal is said to be energy signal if the energy is finite and power is 0. A signal is said to be power signal if the power is non-zero finite value and energy is infinite. And all bounded finite signals are energy signals, and all bounded infinite signals are power signals. And obviously all periodic signals are also power signals. Okay. So as soon as we see this problem, we can directly conclude it is a power signal, because it is a never lasting sinusoidal signal, so which is extending from minus infinity to infinity, which is having a peak value of a. It is a bounded infinite signal, and it is also periodic signal. Therefore we can conclude this signal is a power signal. But we will calculate what is the value of power, and we will conclude some of the identities from Fourier series, that is called Parseval's identity. Let us draw the signal. The given signal is x of t is equal to a sin omega t, right? So this will be the given signal, which is extending from minus infinity to plus infinity, right? So this is the signal, and this will be the peak value a. So this is 0 and pi and 2 pi, and this x-axis is having the variable omega t. Okay. What is the power of this signal? It is a periodic signal, therefore the general formula of power is limit t tends to infinity 1 by t integral minus t by 2 to t by 2 x of t square dt. So this is for non-periodic signals. For periodic signal, you can take this t is the fundamental time period. Fundamental time period. Okay. So the fundamental time period of this given signal x of t is 2 pi. So this one is the time period 2 pi. Okay. So we can directly take this one as 1 by 2 pi. Within integral, we have to take the integration limits as the full cycle time duration. So it is the 0 to 2 pi. And the signal value is a sin omega t square, and it is the variable d omega t. Therefore, it will become 1 by 2 pi. It is a square. So this one will become 0 to 2 pi sine square omega t d omega t. So I will use this trigonometric identity, that is cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square theta. From this I can write sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. So if I use this sine square omega t can be written as 1 minus cos square 2 omega t divided by 2, and we are integrating within the limits 0 to 2 pi with respect to d omega t, right? So this one will become a square by 2 pi, and this is 1 by 2 integral d omega t is omega t, so it will be 0.5 omega t within the limits of 0 to 2 pi, and minus it is 0.5. So this is cos 2 omega t. So what is the integration of cos? It is the sine, right? So it will be sine 2 omega t divided by 2 within the limits 0 to 2 pi. Okay. Now this is a square by 2 pi, and this is 0.5. If I substitute the limits, it will be 2 pi minus 0, which is equal to again 2 pi minus 0.5. So if you substitute 2 pi here, it will be sine 4 pi minus the lower limit is sine 0 divided by 2. So this value will be turned out to be 0. So this is 0. Therefore this 2 pi and this 2 pi will be cancelled. Therefore we left with the power of the signal Px is equal to a square by 2. But what is this a here? A is the peak value, right? A is the peak value. Then what is the RMS value? RMS value is equal to a by root 2. So this a square by 2 can be rewritten as a by root 2 whole square. So this can be written as RMS square. So the power of a sinusoidal signal of amplitude A is nothing but its RMS square. So this is an important conclusion that we have derived while solving this problem. Just we derived the power of signal x of t is a squared by 2, which is equal to the RMS power squared, right? Now if I shift this signal, suppose let y of t is equal to a sine omega t plus or minus theta. So we already know that the shifting of a signal will not change the energy and power. Therefore, this power of this y of t is also equal to a square by 2, which is equal to the RMS power square. Okay. For suppose we have another signal like this, which is the linear combination of sinusoidals. For suppose it is a1 sine omega t plus or minus theta 1, and let this is a2 sine omega t plus or minus theta 2, a3 cos omega t plus or minus theta 3, plus so on like this. Okay. So whether it is a sine term or cos term, the shape will not be changing. Therefore, the power of the signal will not change. Again, we have to look at the frequency. The frequency will also doesn't matter because it is the constant value. So this power is not depending on the frequency. So whether you have here omega or 2 omega or 3 omega, it doesn't matter. Now we can calculate the power of the above signal. I mean this signal y of t. Okay. Let this is b. It is the sum of powers of the individual signals. This one, so this one will be equal to a1 square by 2, and the power of this signal it is a2 square by 2, and the power of this signal is a3 square by 2, plus so on. Okay. So how can I write this one is RMS of 1, which means It is the RMS value of this signal. It is squared plus RMS value of the second signal. So this one squared plus similarly RMS value of third signal squared. And this power of the resultant signal y of t is also an RMS value, right? So this one will have some RMS value. So that one will be equal to root over the power, or RMS square is equal to power. Therefore, this total RMS is equal to the square root RMS of first signal squared plus RMS of second signal squared and RMS of third signal squared, and so on. So this is an important conclusion. And here this identity, this power of y is equal to a1 square by 2 plus a2 square by 2 plus a3 square by 2 plus 1. So this is the Parseval's identity for periodic signals. So we will see it in detail while discussing the Fourier series and Fourier transforms. So periodic signals. So I hope you understand how to calculate the power of a sinusoidal signal, and if a signal is a linear combination of sinusoidal signal, how to calculate the power. So this conclusion is already derived in, and you also studied in the course of electrical circuit analysis, in which we solve these circuits with different sources like square, sawtooth and triangular waves, and we also calculated the power of source and the elements as well in that cases. So we used this identity there. I hope how this identity is derived from the basics. I hope you understand. Thank you for watching.